Man, listen, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but I gotta say it the way it came to me. I have been all around the world, met all kinds of people, stayed in fancy hotels, ate in expensive restaurants, walked through cities you only see on postcards. And let me tell you something that shocked me more than anything else. Some of the happiest, most peaceful, most settled people I ever met in my entire life were Muslims. And I'm talking about happiness you can feel, man. Not the Instagram smile, not the take a picture of me with my coffee happiness. I mean, real deep, calm happiness, the kind you see in somebody's eyes, not on their selfie. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, now how in the world these folks got less money, less fancy opportunities, less comfort, and more peace than half the billionaires I'd done met in Hollywood? And that question right there, that thing right in the back of my mind, oh, it bothered me in the best way possible. So I started paying attention, really paying attention. You ever do that? Where something hits you so strong you can't unsee it? Everywhere I went, Dubai, Qatar, Africa, London, Muslim communities, folks in Houston, New York, same pattern, same vibe, a kind of peace they carry around like it's part of their uniform. And then I started asking around like, yo, what's the secret? What y'all doing that the rest of us ain't? Because over here in the West, we stressed out about everything. Our bills stressing us, our phones stressing us, our jobs stressing us, our own thoughts stressing us. And every single time I asked, the answer always came back in the simplest way possible. Like they didn't even understand why I was confused. Like they said, ta-da, Tony Robbins, we trust God. Really trust him. Not just say we trust him, we live like we trust him. Man, that answer hit me in my chest. Because let me tell you something. In the West, people say they trust God, but boy, they got more anxiety than a man waiting for his DNA test results on national TV. We talk about faith like it's a decoration, a thing you pull out on Sunday or post about when life gets hard. But Muslims, nah. For them, trusting God is a lifestyle, a daily habit, a mindset. And when you carry that kind of trust, you walk lighter, you breathe easier. You ain't scared of tomorrow the same way everybody else is. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized something crazy. Muslims got this whole schedule that builds peace right into their day.
5 prayers, man. 5. And when I first heard that, I said, 5? Who got time for 5? I barely got time to answer my emails. But then I watched them. I watched how they just stop in the middle of the day, in the middle of a busy street, in the middle of a job, and they pray. And when they come back, they look like someone reset their soul. You know how folks in the West take smoke breaks? Muslims take peace breaks. And let me tell you, a peace break a whole lot cheaper than a cigarette. But it wasn't just prayer. It was this whole attitude toward life. This whole everything comes from God, everything returns to God. So why am I stressing myself into a hospital bed? And I thought, man, if half the folks I know live like that, we'd have less Xanax prescriptions and more people actually sleeping at night. And what really got me was how content they are. Content, man. You ever seen somebody with nothing but still smiling like they blessed beyond measure? That's Muslims. I saw a man in a little alleyway cafe in Istanbul sitting on a plastic chair that looked like it cost $2 drinking tea like he was the king of the world. Dude had no rush, no panic. No, I gotta be somewhere in 10 minutes. He was just there, present, grateful. And the whole time I'm thinking the West got money, technology, comfort, entertainment, but you put them same people in a chair for 5 minutes with no phone, they lose their mind. And then there was the family. Oh my God, the family. See, in the West, the family system, man, is cracking like a dropped iPhone. Everybody separate, everybody busy, everybody doing their own thing. But Muslims, family is serious. Like you don't disrespect your parents. Serious. You don't abandon your kids. Serious. Folks actually sit together, eat together, talk together. Their homes ain't quiet like museums. They alive, they loud, they warm. You feel love when you walk in. And I'm sitting there in a Muslim household thinking, man, this is what we lost, because happiness don't come from money, it comes from belonging. And let me tell you something else. Muslims don't treat life like a competition. They ain't out here trying to flex on each other every 2 minutes. In the West, we got people spending money they don't have to impress people they don't even like. Meanwhile, I saw Muslims competing in only one thing. Who can do more good? Who can give more in charity? Who can help someone quietly without posting it online like it's a trophy? I saw a man in Saudi Arabia giving money to a poor worker and I said, man, why didn't you post that? That would have gone viral. He laughed at me. He said, why would I feel myself helping a human being? God is watching. Isn't that enough? And bro, that line right there, that humbled me so fast, I didn't even know what to say. 'Cause over here, if somebody gives a homeless man a sandwich, they got to turn it into a whole documentary, and then we got the whole lifestyle thing. See, Muslims don't drown themselves in alcohol. They ain't destroying their bodies every weekend. They ain't clubbing till 4 a.m., pretending that's happiness. They got boundaries, man, rules, discipline. And let me tell you, discipline is the quiet secret to happiness. When your life got structure, your mind got peace. When your life got limits, your heart got clarity. When your life got purpose, your soul got direction. And the biggest piece, Muslims wake up every day believing, and I mean really believing, that this world is temporary. Temporary like a hotel stay. And when you believe that, you don't panic when life goes wrong. You don't crumble when you lose something. You don't act like every setback is the end of the world, because you know the real home is later, not here. And that right there is the kind of mindset that makes you happier than any material thing ever could. So yeah, man, the more I watched, the more I listened, the more I learned, I realized Muslims ain't happier because they got more. They happier because they need less. They ain't happier because they got perfect lives. They happier because they got anchored hearts. They ain't happier because their world is easier. They happier because their faith is stronger. And I said to myself, Tony Robbins, you gotta talk about this. People need to hear this. People need to know why a group with less money, less comfort, less luxury got more peace than the richest countries on earth. Now let me take y'all somewhere completely different for a second, because the deeper I went into this whole thing, why Muslims walk around with this calmness in their chest while the West out here hyperventilating over every little thing, I realized it ain't just faith. It ain't just prayer. It ain't just family. It's this whole way of living that keeps their hearts light. And I'm sitting there one day thinking, man, if the West lived even 20% like this, therapists would be out of business. Half these self-help books wouldn't exist, and I'd probably have fewer wrinkles on my forehead. 'Cause there's something Muslims do that the West never truly mastered. They know how to slow down their souls even when the world speeds up. You ever been to a Muslim country in the evening? Bro, I remember walking down this street in Morocco, sun setting, air cooling down, that orange glow hitting everything. And I swear it felt like the whole city just exhaled. Shops slowing down, families walking together, people sitting outside just talking, not scrolling, not complaining, not trying to escape their own mind, just being. That's a skill the West forgot. Over here, folks can't sit still without needing a distraction. Sit a man down for 5 minutes without his phone and he start twitching like you turned off his life support. But Muslims, they mastered this quiet rhythm of life that just keeps your chest unclenched. And then there's this thing they do that I found so beautiful. Gratitude. Real gratitude. Not the Western version where somebody posts a picture of their smoothie bowl with the caption feeling blessed. But they depressed inside. I'm talking real gratitude. Muslims wake up with it. They say Alhamdulillah, which means all praise is due to God for everything. You give a Muslim a little Alhamdulillah. You give them a lot, Alhamdulillah. You give them something they didn't even want, Alhamdulillah. And I said, man, if people in the West practice gratitude like this, half the stress in America would evaporate like mist. Because let me tell you, gratitude rewires your brain. When you constantly remind yourself that God gave you more than you deserve, you stop obsessing over the things you don't have. But the real kicker, the thing that absolutely blew my mind, was how Muslims see hardship. See, in the West, when life gets a little tough, boy, people fall apart fast. One BA, panic attack, one breakup, emotional meltdown, something don't go your way. You blame God, the universe, your neighbor, your cat, everybody. But Muslims, they see hardship like a weight placed on a muscle. It's meant to make you stronger. They say, God don't give you a burden unless he knows you can handle it. And man, that mindset right there is powerful. Imagine going through rough patches with the belief that it's building you, not breaking you. You think those folks going to walk around miserable? No, sir. They walk around with this quiet confidence like, God got me. This storm ain't the end. It's a lesson, not a punishment. And when you got that kind of perspective, stress don't eat you alive. You sleep at night, you breathe easier, you smile even when things ain't perfect. And then there's something else, something big, something the West completely flipped upside down. Purpose. Let me tell you the truth here. The Western world is drowning in meaningless living, people working jobs they hate, spending money on things that don't matter, chasing trends that die in 24 hours, trying to impress strangers who don't even know their last name, and then everybody wonders why they feel empty, why they feel lost, why nothing feels that whole inside. But Muslims, everything they do has purpose. They don't just exist, they live with intention. Their whole day from waking up to sleeping is structured around meaning, praying, helping, serving, learning, loving, giving, and when your life has meaning, your heart has peace. I remember sitting with this old Muslim man in Ethiopia. I asked him straight up, "Man, what keeps you this calm, this peaceful?" And he smiled, this big, warm, gentle smile, and he said, "My purpose is simple. God made me to worship Him, be good to people, provide for my family, and leave the world better than I found it. Everything else is noise." And man, I almost cried right there because in the West, everybody got 1,000 goals, 1,000 dreams, 1,000 expectations and still feel empty. Meanwhile, this man had 4 purposes and his heart was overflowing. And let's talk about community for a minute. You ever notice how Muslims don't let each other fall? Like really fall. A brother loses his job, whole community steps up. A sister struggling, people bring her food, support her, help her get back on her feet. Somebody gets sick, people show up, pray for them, donate, visit. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, when did the West lose that? Because over here, people can live next door to somebody for 5 years and never even learn their name. You could be dying inside and the world wouldn't notice. But Muslims, community is built into the culture, built into the religion, built into the heart. And when you know you ain't alone, your happiness gets a whole lot easier to protect. Then I started noticing something else. Muslims got boundaries the West desperately needs. Real boundaries, moral boundaries, lifestyle boundaries, boundaries with money, boundaries with desires, boundaries with behavior, boundaries with ego. And let me tell you, boundaries ain't limitations. Boundaries protect you. You know why half the West is miserable? Because they out here living without breaks, no limits, no control, no guidance. And when you live without limits, you crash. Muslims don't crash like that because their whole life is structured. They got guardrails, and guardrails don't restrict you. They keep you from falling off the cliff. But the biggest thing, the thing that shook me to my core, is how Muslims don't try to control life the way the West does. In the West, man, people try to control everything in the future, their image, their money, their relationships, their timeline, their destiny. And let me tell you something. Trying to control life is the fastest way to misery. You ain't God. You ain't all-knowing. You ain't all-powerful. But Muslims, they got this one phrase, tawakkul. It means you do your best and trust God with the rest. Do you know how freeing that is? You stop fighting battles that ain't yours. You stop stressing about things you can't change. You stop acting like your entire life depends on your ability to micromanage the universe. And when I saw that, I understood why Muslims walk with this calmness, why they smile more genuinely, why they sleep deeper, why their hearts seem softer. It ain't luck, it ain't genetics, it ain't geography. It's the peace that comes from surrender, not giving up but giving over, giving your worries, your fears, your future to the one who already knows how it ends. And the West, they ain't tasted that kind of freedom. Now here's the part that really made me stop and think. Muslims don't chase happiness the way we do in the West. They protect it. They have rules, discipline, spiritual structure, not to make life hard, but to make the heart light. See, when you pray 5 times a day, you're forced to pause, breathe, reset, and remember you're not carrying this whole world on your back. When you give charity, you're reminded you're blessed. When you fast, you learn control. The West keeps saying, do whatever you want. Islam says, do what keeps your soul clean. And you can't deny it. A clean soul sleeps better than a rich man with a dirty heart. So after seeing all this, I realized something simple. Happiness isn't in the noise, the money, the flexing, or the rush. It's in grounding. It's in purpose. And Muslims, they've been practicing the blueprint for peace long before the West even knew it was missing something. That's why you see them smiling through situations that would break most people. Their happiness isn't from the world, is from the one who made